If you're shopping for an all-in-one PC in 2025, you'll find many options. Sleek designs, big screens, touch features, integrated hardware. But how do you pick the right one for you? Let's walk through the key things you need to check, what they mean, and how to make sure you end up with a machine you'll be happy using for years. 1. Define your use case. First things first, ask yourself what you'll really use the PC for. If you're doing basic tasks, browsing, documents, video calls, then you don't need ultra-high specs or the largest screen. If you do creative work, photo or video editing, design, multitasking with many windows, then you'll want stronger internals, better display, maybe touchscreen or pen support. If you want it in a small space or shared living area, then size, noise, and form factor matter more. Getting clarity on use now will prevent overpaying for features you don't need, or getting underpowered for what you do need. 2. Screen size, resolution, and panel quality. Since all-in-one PCs bundle the display with the computer, the screen is one of the most important pieces. Size. Common sizes are 23 to 24 inches, 27 inches, 32 inches or more. Bigger size means more workspace, but also requires more desk space and proper viewing distance. Resolution. Full HD, 1920 by 1080 is basic and works for most tasks. But if you edit photos or videos or want sharper text, go for QHD, 2560 by 1440, or 4K, 3840 x 2160. Many guide sites emphasize this. Panel quality. Look for IPS or equivalent for better color, wide viewing angles. If you care about color accuracy, for creative work, check sRGB/Adobe RGB coverage, brightness, nits, and maybe HDR support. Touch/pen support. Some AIOS add touchscreen or stylus support. If you draw or annotate, that's a big plus. Make sure the display matches your tasks. A huge screen with low resolution will just look blurry. A small screen with 4K might be hard to read without scaling. 3. Processor, CPU, and memory, RAM. These determine how fast the machine runs and how smooth it feels when you multitask. For basic use, a modern mid-range CPU, for example Intel Core i5/AMD Ryzen 5, is plenty. Guides recommend this for everyday tasks. For heavier work, editing, many browser tabs, virtual machines, etc., you'll want something like Intel Core i7/Ryzen 7 or higher. RAM. 8 GB is workable today, but 16 GB is the sweet spot for smooth performance in 2025. If you'll keep the machine for years or do creative work, 32 GB is better. Check whether RAM is upgradable. Some AIOS lock it in. 4. Storage, SSD, and boot speed. Storage affects how fast your system boots, how quickly apps open, how comfortable your experience is overall. Aim for an SSD, preferably NVMe for best performance. 512 GB SSD is a good starting point for many users. If you store large files or videos, you might want 1 TB or more. Some AIOs pair SSD for system plus HDD for storage. That's fine if you know what you're doing. Avoid AIOs with only a small SSD and no upgrade path if you'll keep it long. 5. Graphics, GPU. Since many all-in-one PCs integrate the display and computer, the graphics hardware will depend on your use. If your tasks are standard office, browsing, streaming, you'll be fine with integrated graphics, Intel, AMD, or basic discrete. If you edit video, use 3D software, or game, then you'll want a dedicated graphics card, or at least a stronger integrated GPU. Some guides mention this as key. Just be aware, AIOS often have weaker cooling or fewer upgrade options for GPUs than desktops. 6. Connectivity and ports. You'll want a machine that connects well with your peripherals, monitors, and future upgrades. Key things to check. USB-C/Thunderbolt ports for external monitors, fast data, future-proofing. USB-A ports for legacy devices. HDMI/DisplayPort to connect a second monitor. Ethernet port for reliable wired internet. Good Wi-Fi Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, and Bluetooth latest version. SD card reader, if you work with cameras. A poorly connected AIO might limit your ability to plug in external drives, second displays, etc. 7. Stand, ergonomics, and desk fit. Since the display and computer are combined, how it sits on your desk matters a lot. Check stand height, tilt, and maybe swivel options. You don't want to strain your neck. Consider how deep your desk is. Big screens, 27 inches, 32 inches, need more distance to be comfortable. Cable management. One unit helps, but ensure power/USB cables can be routed neatly. Noise and cooling. AIOS tend to be quieter, but check reviews for noise/heat under load. 8. Upgradability and longevity. One of the often overlooked parts. How long will this machine last, and can you upgrade parts when needed? Many AIOs are closed systems. CPU/GPU might be soldered, RAM locked, and limited upgrade slots. If you'll keep your machine for 5+ years, look for models that allow SSD/RAM upgrades. Consider repairability and service. Since components are integrated, repairs may cost more or be more involved. Check warranty terms and whether the brand offers good support. 9. Price and value. Match what you need to your budget. Some tips. Don't pay premium for a name brand unless you need the extras. Design, display quality, ecosystem. Compare the specs you're getting. CPU, RAM, storage, display quality. Sometimes a smaller brand gives better specs for less money. Think about total cost. Built-in display, plus speakers plus webcam in an AIO adds value versus buying separately. But also remember, the more premium the screen or internal specs, the more you pay. Sometimes a desktop plus good monitor gives more upgrade headroom per dollar. 10. Brand, support, and reviews. Finally, don't ignore brand reliability and user reviews. Check how the brand handles warranty/service in your region. Read recent reviews of the model you're looking at. Display quality, noise, ports, software updates. For all-in-ones especially, look for real user feedback about panel brightness, color accuracy, ease of repair. Good brands will provide support, firmware updates, and spare parts, important for a machine you'll keep for years. Final thoughts. Choosing the right all-in-one PC in 2025 isn't just about picking the biggest screen or the fastest CPU. It's about matching your workflow, space, and budget to the right machine. Here's a quick decision check for you. Want simplicity plus minimal cables? Go AIO. Need large display plus creative work plus multitasking? Prioritize screen quality plus resolution. Using for standard tasks? A mid-range CPU plus 16 GB RAM plus SSD will serve you well. Want to upgrade later? Make sure the AIO supports it, or consider a desktop instead. Fit matters. Ensure your desk space, stand height, and viewing distance work with the screen size. Spend your budget where it makes the biggest difference for you. Display quality for creatives, CPU/RAM for multitaskers, ports/connectivity for professionals, and size ergonomics for space-conscious users. If you do that, you'll end up with an all-in-one PC that really works for you in 2025, and you'll be comfortable using it for years ahead.